couldn't be more proud to see her here and have her book published. And this is just the beginning for her, and that a lot more success is coming her way. And yeah, I've really enjoyed just over the last year seeing you come in with an armload of stories and a passion that inspired me as a writer and makes me proud to keep writing. So, as for the show, I know she may have asked you to read some pieces, but instead she asked me something a little different, that I make a sacrifice to the literary gods. And I checked with your coach and they don't really allow animals. So this is going to have to do for now. I can't aim it. This is called Turtle Problems. There was a note on the fridge. Hey Bill, me and some friends left to go camping for a bit. We grabbed a few things from the fridge for the trip. When you got off work, could you go by the pet store and grab us a turtle? Thanks. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang. Bert. Bert was a man with a taste for the absurd and pretzels. The son of a lumber magnate, Bert was armed with a seemingly endless supply of money and a seemingly endless disregard for people not named Bert. This introduction makes Bert seem like a bad guy, but he wasn't always this way. 4 years ago, Bert was in love with this girl. Actually, forget it. It's easier for everyone if Bert is just a jerk. He wouldn't want you to think so anyway. There's something odd about living with a complete stranger after being alive for 25 years. In any other country, Bill and Bert would not have met, let alone share an apartment together. If it had been the 18th century, Bill would have been a fur trapper in the Midwest Territory, while Bert sipped mint juleps on the front porch of his Georgia mansion, benefiting from Grover Cleveland's recent tariff reduction under the Texas Seed Bill. On the other hand, if this was the 4th century, both of them would have been dead by now. That's just how it was back then. But this is the 20th century, where these types of modern things can happen. In a way, camping has kind of returned to this natural separation, going back to a life where Bert could eat when he was hungry and sleep when he was tired. Then again, this view of camping might be a bit romantic and naive. There is probably a reason why mankind collectively decided to stop living outside. It's usually pretty dirty and the bugs get big and bitey. Also, camping isn't a bad idea after you drunkenly break into the New England Aquarium and attempt to steal various marine life. Bill opened his fridge to find that it took everything but the beautiful blueberries. Fortunately, Bill knew 2 recipes using blueberries as the primary ingredient. 1, blueberry surprise. 6 cups of fresh or frozen blueberries. 1/2 teaspoon lemon zest. 1 white t-shirt from Bert's Closets with the word "I snatch kisses" and vice versa, written on the front in pink glittery lettering. Steps. Wash blueberries. 2, take a dozen blueberries and smear them all over Bert's shirt. 3, eat the rest. There was also a jar of mustard left in the fridge, the last thing Bill wanted to see. If anyone actually called the questions and/or complaints line for Grey Poupons Dijon mustard, Bill would pick up the phone. Bill spent most of his day staring at his phone, wondering why someone had decided it would be a good idea to create a system where a complete stranger could angrily discuss mustard with you. After nearly a year or 2 of experience, Bill figured out that there are only 2 types of people in this world who called a mustard hotline. 15-year-olds with too much free time, and people who were far too serious about mustard. The cloves. The cloves! It's just not mustardy enough. Wait, this exists? It's just too mustardy. Bill did not like his job. A few days before his camping trip, Bill got a call from Bert. Hey Bill, I was wondering if you could pick me up a turtle in the next week or so. I have work, Bert. Why on earth do you want one? Bill asked in a way that touched upon the tension between youth's gorgeous recklessness and its inevitable decay. I kind of made a bet and entered a non-existent turtle in a very important race. Let's just say some people won't be very happy if I don't show up with a turtle, and no one wants that. I'm not buying you a turtle, Bert. I'd get me one if I were you. Bill, my man, how's it going? Hey, I picked up your dry cleaning on the way back from the gym. Thanks, Bert. I appreciate it. One more thing. Remember your car? What do you mean, remember? You bet my car in a turtle race? Well, not exactly. I didn't have the money on me, and the only thing close was your car. I didn't think they were serious. Why didn't you just tell me that? Or why didn't you get a fucking turtle? You didn't think I tried? Long story short, I'm not allowed back at the aquarium. In a carless rage, Bill got on his bicycle to pick up groceries. Bill missed his car greatly. Ever since Bert sold it a few weeks ago, things had been a little harder, especially with his now ex-girlfriend, Jill. How are we supposed to go on dates if you don't have a car? Jill asked. I'll get it back, Jill. Don't worry about it. Okay, I just can't imagine taking the bus or the subway to go for dinner. It's just so unromantic, being stuffed into a crowded bus full of winos that smell like fish. It's not that bad. The bus isn't filled with homeless people, but it could be, Bill. It could be. Bill turned right at the brick firehouse and arrived at the market. For whatever reason, Bill could not stop thinking of his ex-girlfriend. He remembered a lot of things today. Well, Jill asked. No, I haven't gotten the car back. Bert doesn't know the name of the guy who sold it, and how am I supposed to find a bookie for turtle races? Bill, this just isn't working anymore. What are you talking about? It's been 2 weeks. I know, but the intimacy is gone. With all the buses and taxis, it's suffocating. There's always someone else there. When you got me those flowers, I had to carry them on my lap in the subway, worried a homeless man would steal them. That's not the kind of life I want, Bill. I don't want to live in fear anymore. If this hadn't been enough, Bill also lost his job after being framed for a fire that he did not start. I did not start that fire. You know I didn't. You probably didn't. We also had that mother file a complaint against you. She demanded a lifetime supply of free mustard because she said her mustard was too yellow. What was I supposed to do? I'm sorry, Bill. HR's just been looking for excuses to let people go. Trying to process this fact that he had lost his car, his girlfriend, and his job in 2 weeks overwhelmed him. With his preconceived notions of life demolished by the catalog of crimes and absurdities of the last 2 weeks, Bill was free. For the first time in his life, he was able to create his own life, completely authentic and absolutely insane. It was such a transformation that the rest of the story has to be narrated from Bill's perspective. However, this change wasn't powerful enough to make him forget that he was hungry. He knew it was time to step inside the grocery store to find the meaning of life, and maybe some chicken cutlets. There was a mother with her little girl in the dairy aisle. The little girl would skip over to me, her stuffed bunny named John Lennon bouncing up and down. She would stare at me with blueberry eyes and ask, "Are unicorns real?" Of course they are. In fact, there's one right behind you now. She would turn around, only to see an assortment of cheese. Shucks, you just missed him. He ducked behind the turkey bacon. Bill considered a fish for dinner. As Bill stared deeply into the Chilean sea bass, he became distracted by an attractive woman by the salmon. She was Mint Oreo Love. Her tight green tank top and black miniskirt makes me want to sing Italian love songs to her while lounging in front of a brick fireplace. We would go shopping together for aromatherapy candles at Sears, using them for a late-night rendezvous. After a day of hang gliding and marble sculpting, she would introduce me to my new favorite band, and despite my reluctance, finally get me to appreciate the dry wit of Jane Austen. Years later, when we grow tired of our decadent and stable lifestyle, we will renew our passions for each other in life by becoming international art thieves. A few Picassos later, we will buy a private island off the western coast of Mexico, spending our days bass fishing and reminiscing about how we barely avoided the police in Vienna. Fuck you, Jill, I can't believe you broke up with me because I didn't have a car for 2 weeks. I went to the checkout line and stood behind a man in a suit. His ruddy moontan glowed like a Christmas tree on fire. His mustache screamed Grover Cleveland. He would hold a ripe pomegranate in his hand and challenge any man to take it. No man could, and the fruit was never damaged. He conquered the Northwest Territory, built the Brooklyn Bridge out of grit and steel, and then bought a honey-glazed ham with exact change. What a guy. Suddenly, another less friendly man walked into the grocery store. His electric blue Hawaiian shirt suggested he was fun. His gun suggested otherwise. Nobody move and nobody get hurt. Got it? Said the robber. He waved his gun in the air like a big metal candy bar that could shoot you. His threat sounded cliche and uninspired. I wasn't convinced he really wanted to rob Whole Foods. Grover Cleveland's G.I. Joe stance meant he was ready for anything. Any second now, he would spring into action and save the day, smashing a ripe watermelon over the villain's head, and dispose of him with one swift Texas seed karate chop. The same move he used to crush high tariffs and Civil War pensions. The robber went from cashier to cashier, pocketing packs of cinnamon gum over the second cash register. He came running over to our checkout line, looking around nervously. I turned to the man in the snazzy new suit and said, "To the Cleveland administration." He toppled over my leg like John Elway would, just short of a touchdown. Smacking down on the linoleum floor by checkout line number 4, the gum flew out of his hand and landed next to Blueberry Girl and a surprised John Lennon bunny. A small crowd gathered around us and started cheering. Grover gave me a wink, and my future wife looked happy that we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. I looked down at the man who made me a hero. No free lunches. Thank you.